I've talked about projection quite a bit. But even though you think I would get it, that those who project a lot while they're blaming other people, that is, accusing people with no evidence of, because it's what they would do, they don't seem to understand projection. They don't at all. They really don't. And even though I've talked about it a lot, this may seem mind-blowingly obvious. Of course they don't. That's why they keep doing it. They're never going to learn properly what that is, how that works, because they lack insight to themselves. And it was a little bit of a light bulb moment today, thinking of that. To quote Steve McRae, I mean, yesterday I heard this and I nearly spat my coffee everywhere. Speaking of caffeinated beverages, I tend to think of Steve McRae when you just having some food here after work and thinking about this. To quote him, his latest videos, I think on Non Sequitur it was, which doesn't deserve that title anyway. Talking to somebody, well, you got a PhD and I'm not an idiot, right? After saying, well, he says that after saying, well, the average IQ of America is dropping, and here we got a sociopath or Sleepy Joe. He's bought into the bullshit because he's got no higher critical thinking left, because he doesn't use any insight to develop any critical thinking. Mr. Advocate of critical thinking and debate and so on. Of course, he's not going to understand projection while projecting. You got a PhD and I'm not an idiot, after saying Trump's the sociopath, the liar, and Joe Biden's the sleepy one. He's bought in. Sure, Joe Biden's slow. He's too old, perhaps, for the job. There's not much age difference between the two of them, by the way. Turns out Joe Biden's always had a slow demeanour and a bit of a stutter here and there. All this is media, but this idiot is always so emotionally driven, like any idiot out there, because that's why they're idiots and they project. There's no critical thinking, there's no insight. It just found it really, really funny. You had to be there, I guess, because I thought, oh, yesterday I scrolled through a video about what's this idiot talking about now. Just scrolled through and I caught that random bit. Whoever he had on, I don't know, don't care. But I nearly spat my coffee everywhere. You get that moment drinking and you, what, hilarious. The average IQ of America keeps dropping. You got a PhD and I'm not an idiot. Yes, you are. I mean, of course you're not going to realise that because you have this fantasy of being on your intellectual hill. Another quote that's really funny. People telling me I'm going to die on this hill while these other people are just not intellectually in shape enough to be on the hill with me. You egotistic, stuck-up, dense motherfucker. Yeah. Really. It's just way too funny. But, it's Trump that has projected, and they don't understand projection. Trump projects and name calls Biden as Sleepy Joe. Oh, he's got to be jacked up high and all this. When it's Trump who's fallen asleep in court. It's Trump who's very ill health. He's the one who's going senile. As to what else is I stopped catching up with Midas Touch Network because it just seems the same old repetitive nonsense All I want is the main goal. The main goal is Trump gets it jailed, prison, whatever time, because he is a convicted criminal. You know? But you know, this is the thing with America. They boast about their freedoms because anyone else, anybody, any idiot can have a go. And they see other countries as corrupt because other countries got a standard. And you're supposed to prove you're worth these standards before you have a go. So this is why we kicked out, as much as we could, the Conservative Party in the UK. Because guess what? We've got a standard. And America keeps proving over and over via its addiction to consumerism and entertainment that it's got no standards. Because as long as you can consume and get entertained, there's money involved and people can make money out of you, and then nothing else matters. Your health, consequences, your safety, it doesn't matter. You just need to use your body as a money hole, a money making machine. So get you addicted to the junk food. And look at Trump. He is a product of all of America's ills. America is encouraged to lack critical thinking. American citizens. A lot of Americans are sick of that. Sick to the core. Ashamed even. Right. But no, I doubt Steve McCrae can even see beyond that, because he's people are a product of their environment, and sometimes an environment can be things. Their environment, if you're monetizing what you do on the internet, that can be an environment in and of itself. People don't think of that way. But you know, a lot of these haters that double down and hate via the internet, that's their environment. Because they got nothing else. I look at some of these haters on Twitter and you try to calculate how many tweets a day that would be for smear campaigning and name calling, bitching, so on. You think, whoa, there's not many hours left in a day for you. And it's the same as Steve McCrae crowd, echo chambering. But he's not an idiot, surrounding himself with idiots who don't care about animal cruelty, don't do anything for the safety of their own pets, don't do anything for the safety of other people. You know, we've seen this. Cheshire Harvick had a recent live video about that. These people are so disgusting that another individual actually threw up. You know, I've been through some really nasty things. It doesn't faze me that much. What makes me angry is the pride that these people have. They are proud to be this dysfunctional because they know they can get away with it. This is the same thing that happened with the Conservative Party. Fascism, by the way, in governments, in political parties also. Doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. There's no switch. You click on fascism mode. What happens is a few members of a political party do a few dodgy things here and there. The public didn't make much of an uproar about it. Maybe it's not so bad then after all. Self-convincing. There's a lot of that in human psychology. We tend to, the more people don't complain about something, there's nobody ringing the positive bell saying, oh, do this because what you did, or the opposite of what we're asking you to do, wasn't so good. So ringing in a positive bell at the same time as ringing in a negative bell would give people better productive direction, right? But if you're an asshole all the time, all that people are going to do is slate you. And if you keep surrounding yourself with people who are just yes people, like Steve does, yes Steve, you're right Steve, you're correct Steve. Oh, I got, what's the word? I got swatted. No, you didn't, Steve. Oh, yes, I did. This was a swat. There was an attempt at a swat. No, it wasn't. If it was an attempt at swatting, you would have had a SWAT team, not a friendly knock on the door. We know this. That's logical thinking. That's critical thinking about what actually happened, instead of instilling an excuse so that you can continue your sorry, pathetic bullshit. But they don't. It's the projection thing. It's like, would Steve, because of his anger, his paranoia, his shitty accusations of others, I think the projection would be that imagining, like I've said before, imagining the enemies in the dark. When you turn out lights on, there's nobody there, like a child having a nightmare in the night. He's the one that would attempt to swat somebody. I guarantee that. Seems to be that way. Because he doesn't understand projection. He doesn't understand his assumptions, accusations of other people without proof are not based in reality. They're just based on his fictional paranoia, his fear-based bullshit. Afraid to be exposed as far weaker than he deludes himself to think that these other people around him see him as. He wants everyone to see him as this high-level intellectual, default into atheism versus agnostic versus atheism, theism versus agnostic, whatever. All this bullshit, because it is a default thing, is so stagnant. But it's what he defaults to as a shield to try and, in his worldview, I think, look intellectual. I can't see any other reason why he keeps doing this. Because, sure, there has been fairly high level of intellect within such arguments, but Steve is like, oh, I don't know what to do to try and look better. I know I'll default to this. And then he defaults, and it's just garbage. Surrounds himself with yes people, and occasionally seeks out those people with maybe a PhD here and there. And there he is, going, the average IQ in America keeps dropping. You got a PhD? Yeah, so what, Steve? You got somebody on your own show with a PhD, it doesn't make you look good. Him, by contrast, it makes you look like an idiot. Especially after you're saying, you've got a PhD, and I'm not an idiot. Yes, you are. The actual idiot that tried to smear campaign Cheshire Vic back in the day by claiming she was trying to blackmail you when really you was trying to blackmail her. Projection. You know, and I'm saying this is sounding like I'm trying to address Steve directly. There's no hope for me to address him directly, because if he was going to wake up, he would have already. But I think it was a light bulb moment today that those who project a lot don't understand projection, because they got no insight to themselves, to see themselves doing it. And they got no insight to others to see it happening in others. It's just a rerun of their fear-based fictional crap, because they're so afraid of what other people think of them. Well, it's too fucking late, isn't it? That's a comedy here. It's like, oh, paranoid, I wonder what people would think of me, because this channel's not doing so well. I need to grab those intellectual people on to make me look better. And he looks worse and worse by contrast anyway. This is the thing. This is the fear-based crap. You know, and you know, trying to smear a campaign in Cheshire with a business model that would basically have her as entrapped, blackmailed, and enslaved to working for Steve in a very limited way. We know this. We've done the homework. Cheshire Vic has told us what's gone on and so on, Shan. At the same time, though, as doing this, claiming Mania was committing fraud. At the same time, during his accusation of that, in the same moments, the same hours, the same days, as his smear campaign of Mania. What did he do? He slapped out some very fraudulent looking receipts out there. LawPay doesn't produce receipts that contradict the legend of how certain numbers should lay out on their receipts. He did a Kyle Curtis, guaranteed. There is not, go and do some homework on LawPay, and you do your own homework there. There's no insight, I'm the one, because he's scared of his own shitty crap, low grade, the bar's low, and makes a fantasy up. And I used that word quite a bit recently, fantasy, and I'm realising more and more these dysfunctional people do fantasize about superiority, clearly. Steve definitely does. And once people aren't in shape enough to be on his intellectual hill. Can you hear that? Can you hear this? Oh, I'll turn it up for you. It's just, seriously, let me... it really is mind-blowing, right? But, that was... I know it seems obvious, but there's more thoughts in line with that. Today I was thinking, people who project a lot don't actually see it in other people. And there he is blurting out, Joe Biden's senile, old dude, this and that. He's not even 1 micron as senile as Donald Trump. Donald Trump keeps repeating the same stories and this and that, but things that he defaults to, like Steve defaults to, his bullshit of atheist, agnostic, whatever. That's all he's got. And, a narcissist will repeat themselves a lot with certain scripts as well. And I've bandied that word around a lot, but here's some information to back up my claim of narcissism. Show, don't tell. So the information of that will tell, but then it's, if you want to be shown this, go through Steve's videos, then you'll be shown his script that he would occasionally say. Different people surrounding him. Really, after a whole community just left him behind like a turd to dry out on the road, a chalky turd, drying out in the sun, he sucked up some more individuals. The bar is extremely low. And yes, people. Yes, Steve. Correct, Steve. I know, Steve. You're right, Steve. I'll be your wife, Steve. While he was doing that, ditched the whole crowd. Or we ditched him, really. Sucked up these people. And, the fear of his own shitty ways has to be a fear, because he's so afraid that he can't correct himself, he can't improve himself or whatever. I think, perhaps, just theory. Because why would you surround yourself with yes people that much? If it wasn't something that was really, really bothering you, that you hate the way the errors of your ways show up. You hate what other people might think of it, so he doubles down instead. This is what Aaron does. This is what they all do. They don't understand projection. They look at each other and think, oh, it must be this and that. Because Steve blurts out something, then it must be gospel truth, right? But it's not Steve projecting, no. It's not a cult. No. Thanks for watching. Take care. I look forward to doing another video soon. It's been an interesting day. Take care. Bye.